All right, it's September the 4th, 2012. This is Reality Supreme Being on YouTube, also known as a presidential candidate for HRM, Caesar St. Augustine de Buonaparte. And it's not so much that I'm a presidential candidate because I can't compete with the electoral college system, but I am still a candidate. And being a presidential candidate, I'm asking the people to revolt against the United States, take out all their money out of the banks, stop buying gasoline, start a revolution. And the only way that you can change this situation in serious terms is to come to terms with reality. That's why I call myself Reality Supreme Being. I just had a comment. Somebody said it was real cool. Somebody named Vinny on the YouTube thing, and he said, "That's so cool. You make loads of videos." Yeah, but the loads of videos haven't got me anywhere. I'm still ignored by the mainstream media. Clint Eastwood was asked to speak at the Republican convention, but I haven't been asked to speak at the Republican conventions since the Republicans stole the idea of having someone show up unedited, unscripted, and speak at the Republican convention. That is predominant in all of my videos from starting after the city of Los Angeles burned my house indirectly. Fire department burned my house indirectly. They're all the ones responsible. Since I started at my house at DeSoto and Hart to now, which is 2009, the beginning of 2009 to now, more than 10,000 people have viewed my videos. You'd think someone would have enough of a heart to have helped me long before now, before I'd lost all of my important possessions. Remember, I haven't lost my possessions through hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes. I haven't lost my possessions from a natural disaster, unless you consider people a part of being a natural disaster, and that the wheels that people set in motion, whether they be a citizen, private citizen, or an authority figure, are the ones behind all of my destruction. Maybe nobody believes me. You would have to have lived with me for the last 3 years to have seen the pains and agonies, the hurts, the chain reactive effects it has had on my life, losing cars, boats, trucks, motorhomes, over the last 30 years, the last 10 years being the worst. Your collective United States of America, especially here in California, has destroyed my life and given me nothing in return. So now I'm to the point to where I have to move all my stuff again before the end of the month, or I'm going to lose everything else I've ever had or ever collected. The fruits of I'm an individual whose civil rights have been violated in a way that you could call that I worked all my life so that I could be attacked legally, so that people, government, collective United States of America could use the color of law to violate my rights over and over and over again, and take everything I've ever worked for and leave me with nothing but broken teeth and a piss-poor life and nothing to look forward to except having all of my things taken from me. That's why I do all the videos. I'm depressed. I do the videos and I wander through the streets not caring how or long it's going to take me to die or anything, because you people made it that way. Not one media has ever... As a matter of fact, I predicted in a three-part way over a period of time, I predicted the James Holmes attack in the theater. I sent a message on one of my YouTubes about that the only way, I hate the media so much, mainstream media, the only way I'll ever do an interview for them and give permission to use anything of my copyrighted videos, which are all of anything I've ever recorded, that I would take nothing less than what CBS paid Zapruder for the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And that is the only way you'll ever get a direct interview from me. And it must be an interview on my terms, which means no censoring, no editing, and however long the interview is, in order to people to find out the truth, is however long it's going to be. If it takes an hour, fine. If it takes 5 minutes every day up until election, fine. Let's do that. I'm ready for you reporters. You can ask me any questions. After all, you have the liberty and the opportunity already ahead of you. You've got me speaking unedited, unscripted, just like Clint Eastwood, and you've got all that information to attack me with, to try to make me look contradictory. Well, all people are contradictory. Look at what you do. You use your tax money to kill innocent men, women, and children in other countries, and then you expect not to create terrorism, not to create hatred when you kill a person's family? Come on, man. It's like calling the kettle black. You're the ones that are sick. You're all sick. Every last one of you, every man, woman, and child, and the children are included because the adults will contaminate the children with their philosophies, which are the wrong philosophies, or I should say the wrong sequential order philosophies, because it all comes in steps. And so you create your own domestic and foreign terrorism. You've got me on tape every which way. When I'm happy, when I'm sad, when I'm angry, when I'm ranting and raving. But because of my background knowledge of biology and quantum physics, I happen to know what direction this is all going. And I've got a very, very good picture. But you know what? I tell people that I do these scenarios. Well, you know, the government does them too. They've been doing scenarios all the way back since before John D. Marks wrote the book In Search of the Manchurian Candidate, when the CIA was playing around with all kinds of weird and crazy stuff, weird news. So I said back to the media, I said I wouldn't take anything less than that, and the media is not going to interview me, because the media is controlled by the Bilderberg Group, indirectly, they're controlled by the Bilderberg Group, the Trilateral Commission, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the DuPonts. They're controlled by big money interests, the International Monetary Fund. And instead of people listening to me and understanding that, you know, you have a man who's extremely intelligent and you're about to lose, when I die, you will lose probably 1,000 years of advancements that you could have gotten. Remember, I'm the one who invented the spherical oil barge, you know, round ball. You punch a hole in that and there's an oil leak below the water line. You can turn that round ball so the hole is pointing upward and the oil spill is stopped. Then there was my water recycling house, 2-story house, which would have been safer as far as the fire department is concerned, because people don't have to jump out of 2-story windows when their house is caught on fire, and because all the bedrooms remain downstairs, and all the water usage goes upstairs because you use gray water to flush all your toilets downstairs. The Department of Commerce picked my brain for almost half a year, a little more than half a year, trying to find out my blueprint and all that. Instead of them nobody helped me with my oil tanker in '79. Nobody helped me in '84 with the 2-story special built house, which would have saved tons of water and prevented a lot of droughts. None of this is hindsight. Trust me. I knew this then, and now I'm telling the people, look what you did. You not only screwed yourselves over, you screwed me over. And that's what makes you all contradictory. You're worse than me. At least I rant and rave. But you people are nuts. So Obama's having his wife talk first at the convention tonight. And then he'll come later. And he'll talk his great words. And everybody will say, look what a great orator he is. But none of these people, Democrat or Republican, it's a dual dictatorship. It doesn't matter whether Romney or Obama get in. That's why Romney went to Europe to speak with all the heads, because it's a dead heat race. I'm asking the people before the election, please protest, get your friends together, do it by chain letter, do it by chain letter reminders over YouTube, over Twitter, over all of the channels, Facebook, and say, look everybody, go. I advise everybody in the United States, go see the movie John Doe. Let's start a new John Doe club, and I'm John Doe. Only, I don't want to be president. I want you to create a new office overnight and do it by protest. You can demand anything you want. If you rich, middle class, and poor people take all your money out of the bank, the government will do anything. They'll jump through back hoops. They'll do anything for you to put everything back the way it was. And that's when you hit them. First, we want an amendment added to our tax record now, which should have been added in 1972 during the Vietnam War. We want to be given absolute privilege of saying where our tax dollars go. Each individual person checking a box and saying, no, we don't want you to use it towards a war effort. We want you to use it here. That's the first one. Second demand, we want a new office created above the president. You can elect who you want to as president, vice president. I don't care. You can flip-flop between Democrat, Republican, but we want an office, a John Doe office, above the president. And who's that John Doe? Me. We want an emperor. We want to recognize him as Emperor of the United States of Turtle Island. We want the name of America changed to Turtle Island. If the Soviet Union that fell can change their name back to Russia, we can change our name to a name in the original tongue of the native peoples that lived here originally before white man came here. Then, because you never asked the native peoples, can we name your continent? I renamed the continent, and I renamed America. So, according to me, it's the United States of Turtle Island on the continent of North Pangaea, because I want to get rid of the name America completely. America is a name full of bad karma. It has created nothing but evil, destruction throughout the world. It is the bully of the planet Earth right now. With their money. They just throw their weight around, their power weight with money. The next thing is we want that office to preside over an office that sits in the Capitol called the Parliamentarian Office, which handles all petitions for redress of grievance, of which that office has received hundreds of thousands of petitions for redress of grievance, of which we have never seen one record printed in the newspaper of what, if anything, was done to redress all the petitions for redress of grievance that were handed to the Congress and the Senate. And we don't want a slow process anymore. We want that last person to decide through a referendum, if necessary, with an added referendum, if necessary, what the last call should be. We want a restructuring of the whole government. We want a restructuring of the minimum wage law. We want socialized medicine. We want socialized lawyerships. That's right. I'm going to include the lawyers in the socialized medicine, because the lawyers are nothing but blood-sucking, crappy, make up your own language, take advantage of the people. That's over. And you people could do it like that, overnight. You'd have so much control. The government wouldn't totally fall apart. It would still have to function. But you would have a new office with new criteria, and of course nothing without the approval of a vote, of course, but that Congress could then struggle with minorities and majorities, and they could continue struggling with all the bills and everything that they have, their due processes, which I think are full of crap. But when it comes down to brass tacks, you have one person and a number of people under me, which I would choose selectively and very, very carefully, and not without a civil service exam that they all have to pass, including every politician, and that no money is to be paid to any politicians without the voters' approval. That's right. The voter gets to approve what percentage of your salary you'll draw after the job you've done. This is not a new idea. It was presented in 1984 by my older twin, who appeared in the Portland Press News in October of 1984, when he said that politicians should not be able to draw on their salary unless it's approved by the people, especially when they run for re-election. How well of a job you did depends on how much salary you're going to draw from the people. Now, it's 14 minutes into the video, and there's not much more I can say except the government does all this. I've done cryptic predictions, like I've been claiming all along, and the government has done this cryptic prediction stuff for years, decades. And they're very good at it, but they're missing one element. Me. The unexpected. There's always an unexpected element, and it pops up genetically in different places all the time. And they try to stay on top of it, but they can't. But when a person like me pops up and they say, Jesus, we've gone through all 300 videos and this guy is extremely crafty. I know that they have said this about me, that I'm very crafty, I'm very thorough, and I don't do action unless I've experimented with it first and unless it's been tried out first. The banks just released something. They said that they have instituted a new guideline for keeping people in their homes, and they said they're experimenting, which is a very bright thing. And I don't like banks all that much anymore, but it's a very good idea. It sounds along the same lines that I think. So whoever came up with that idea, his or her brain or their brains are very, very closely quantum aligned with mine, because it's very similar to the type of thing I do. So they have chosen a few towns to try it out in first to make sure that it works before they institute it nationwide. And that's a very smart idea, and that's what the Congress and government should be doing. They test these things out before you do that. Test this health care issue out, this Obama health care out in small towns before you just open it up and just open the valve on the faucet of the water and just let it flow at full stream. You could end up with a huge disaster and another quandary that you're going to stick people in. Anyway, so the Democratic convention is coming and going. They had Christopher Reeves talk in the Democratic convention back in 1996, I believe. And I can't believe that you people don't have somebody like me talking there, because it isn't about speaking at a convention that I'm turned on by. It's getting the word out and not having the media be able to censor it and chop it up for their news routine, which usually will only allow 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or even a minute if you're lucky as a news item. So most people will know, generally speaking, very generally, what's kind of going on and what's being said. Anyway, so that's the video for today, and yes, everything I've talked about right now, there are embedded cryptic predictions there, and it's about Leslie and Michael, the two hurricanes that are coming, through the Atlantic right now. Kirk seemed to peter out in the North Atlantic, but that's okay. I predicted what would happen to Kirk. I said Kirk would be a very spacey hurricane, connected to the word spacey. And that's exactly what it did. It spaced itself out in the North Atlantic. Now, I'm, of course, embedding my interpretation onto it, but it fits. If the shoe fits, wear it. All right, so I've got to go wander some more and see if this guy will, I'm trying to move before the end of the month, and no one's willing to help me. No one's ever notified me on YouTube, hey, I'd like to give you a hand. I'm rich, and I really would like to help you out of the quandary that you have been placed in over and over again by this country that people say, oh, this is the best country in the world. It isn't for me personally. It's the most evil, poisonous country to me, because all they've done is stole my years and damaged my life and keep me from enjoying the fruits of all the labor I spent over the last 20, 25 years. Talk to you later.